Okay. Hello everyone, thanks for joining the new Brighton Lifeboat crew on our Coffee with the Crew or Brew with the Crew Q&A session. We've had some great questions come in via Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I just want to thank everyone who's posted those questions. What we'll do is we'll go through the questions today, answering them for you. I hope you enjoy what we're doing for you. First of all, what I want to do is just introduce everybody that is on the broadcast today. From New Brighton Lifeboat Station. My name's Gareth. My role at the Lifeboat Station is the press officer. So any incidents that get reported, it's my job to upload them to the RNLI website or post them on Facebook or contact the various media agencies. And also as well, it's my role to promote the Lifeboat Station and the fantastic work that the crew do there. Also joining us today, we have Jay. Jay, if you want to say hello and introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Jay. I am one of the 4 helms at New Brighton. So when we're afloat, I make all the operational decisions, making sure that the crew safety is top of the line and making sure we carry out the best rescue we can do.
Thanks, Jay. And also joining us, we've got Tom and Emily. If you want to say hello, guys.
Hi, I'm Tom, crew member on the lifeboat. Been part of the RNLI for 2 years.
I'm Emily, boat crew on the lifeboat. Been a part of it for a year now.
Okay, excellent. Thanks, guys. Thanks for that. So what I'm going to do is, I think we'll get straight into the questions now. Like I said, we've got some really good questions. I'll put some to the general crew, and then I think there's a few questions as well for individual crew members. The first set of questions is coming from Ian Roberts. First of all, Ian, thanks a lot for the kind words you said about the crew and all the hard work that we do. Much appreciated. Thanks a lot for that. I think I'll just put this open to everybody first of all so far. First question is, how much time is given up each week for training?
I think you should ask the wives that one. We normally train once a fortnight, full crew training once a fortnight. Each training exercise can last up to 4 or 5 hours. On top of that, we'll have selective exercises where a helm will get a few crew together and we'll run through specific stuff for upcoming assessments, or if we've had a recent shout and we want to go over things, and they could be in the daytime, evening, and it could be for an hour or 4, 5, 6 hours. It all depends on what you just want to get done.
Cheers, Jake. Brilliant. Good stuff. Okay, next one is, are you guys on call permanently or do you operate a rota system?
So we have an app on our phones, so we can book on and off service. The way I do it, I don't know the way most of the crew do it, when I finish work, I work a 4 on 4 off rota with Tom as well. We both work in the same place. So I go off service for the lifeboat 2 hours before my work shift starts, and then come back on service half an hour after my work shift finishes. So apart from being in work, and unless we've got days out with the family or something, then we're all on service, on call constantly. We carry around our anti-lock pages as well, which will go off with an annoying noise, which never goes off when you want it to get us all running around there like lunatics to see what we're going out to.
Cheers, Jake. What area does New Brighton service then? What's the sort of the range that the lifeboat will cover?
The whole of the River Mersey, up and round towards up to the Formby, Crosby, across that area there, and then all the way around, assist with Hoy Lake, all the way around to there. We'll cover that area too.
Great. And what about the other side down? How far down towards sort of the airport and that do you cover?
We cover all the way to the Widnes Bridge, so it depends on the state of the tide and stuff. Sometimes we can get a little bit further with our boat, but yeah, generally from the Widnes Bridge all the way up the Mersey to Southport, and then all the way across. We'll go around to West Kirby if we need assistance. I know Mike Jones has done a shout out to the oil fields. He's been out there. He's been halfway to the Isle of Man once for a boat on fire. So it all depends on what the shout is and which is the fastest asset in the area to get to it.
Great, thank you very much. Next question's coming from Sophie Peckham. She says, do you have any tips how to cope with difficult shouts, emotion-wise at all? If there's a particularly bad shout, what have we got that we can sort of cope, or what have we got in place for that?
The RNLI is fairly fantastic when you deal with this sort of thing. We've got a lot of systems in place for difficult shouts and sort of traumatic events that the crew can access all year round whenever they need assistance or help, and they're really supportive. Actually, it's good.
I think the crew itself is quite good as well. Whenever you have a bad shout, there's always someone asking you if you're okay, and you get a message saying you're okay or stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things certainly I've noticed as well. Like the crew themselves are really close knit, and it's like a big family. And I know certainly if there was a traumatic thing, then everyone will pull together. And I suppose one of the most important things, one of the easiest ways to deal with it, is just sitting around and having a brew and chatting about it, and having a drink and stuff like that, and being able to trust the people you work with and actually be open and honest with them and let them know how you're feeling, and everyone will be there to support you. And I've certainly seen that in the time that I've been there as well.
Yeah, we have got a system in place in the RNLI, and I can't remember what it's called now, but I actually used it last year. That's the one, Trim. I actually used it last year after a shout. Ian, the station manager, and Dan, one of the helms, seeing that I wasn't dealing with one very well, so they put it forward to me. One of the area managers actually phoned me on a Saturday morning at 10 o'clock and then was at the station at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So sat down, had a meeting with them, discussed everything that had gone on and how I was feeling, and then we just done follow-ups. I think it's a great system that they've got in place, which I know I think they've taken it from the Navy and the military, but it is a really good system that they've got in place to look after all the well-beings of the crew.
Brilliant. Tom, Emily, anything else to add on that one?
Oh, that's it. Yeah, I think you covered it.
Great stuff. How do you balance work life and the RNLI?
It's not. I don't find it too difficult, to be honest. Living so close to the station, and sort of most of everything we do is sort of in New Brighton anyway. So if we go out for a day out, we're in New Brighton anyway, so it's not too bad. So if on our days off, we're usually about, and as we discussed earlier, when you're in work, you're booked off, so it's not too bad. It's not too demanding. It's manageable.
Very understanding partners.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one is coming from Instagram, and the user is Beach Feet meets City Chick. And she's asked, how has the coronavirus affected your ability to practice and train together? So
the RNLI's got their own training website with resources on it that we can all use. RNLI 2 it's called, so we can all jump on there. It's got all kinds of booklets that we can access to do some training. They're also putting stuff on their learning zone on RNLI 2 with quizzes about voyage, about casualty care, stuff like that. I am also on the RNLI volunteer Facebook page. You've got to be a member of the crew to get onto that page. They've got all kinds of training videos and stuff on there. We as a crew at station, we've been trying to set up some virtual stuff using Zoom the way we're doing now. Just going over rope tying, radio procedures, casualty care stuff. And then we've also got some video footage from different shouts and some training exercises and stuff that we've got, so we can throw them onto the WhatsApp groups, and everyone just has a quick going over and quick refresher of it in the minds, make sure that it's all staying up there. Skill fade is a big problem, so if you're not using it, you will lose it. Some of the rope stuff isn't too bad for the likes of myself, Tom, and a couple of the other lads that work on the river on the boats full time. So we're actually still seeing the boys. We're still out there on the river So we're getting our local knowledge up to scratch. We need to push the rest of the crew on a bit more.
Brilliant. Tom, Emily, anything else from yourselves?
No, just like Jay said, it's quite lucky in the job we're in where you can keep those skills up to date, keep them fresh. Yeah.
I also find the crew handbooks very helpful as well. When you're sat at home and you've got nothing to do.
Have a read through them. I think part of it as well is just being a little bit innovative, isn't it? And using like the Zoom apps and things like that and try and come up with training packages that everyone can do. And like yourself, Emily, if everyone's got a crew handbook, then certainly we can, you know, turn to a particular section or whatever, and then everyone can go through it together. And then if there's any questions, we can all fire them off against each other and bounce suggestions and ideas around everyone. Next question coming is it true the station and shop will be moved to a new location more suitable to launch for a shout?
Last year before, we had some meetings with the RNLI over potentially moving sites. I know after Llandudno, we had one of the longest road transits from our site to our launch site, from the station to the launch site. I think now we've got the longest in the country, I think. We have a 9-ton tractor when it's fully loaded with the boat and the trailer and 4 crew members on board, and then we have a truck that follows. So getting down New Brighton Prom, past all the restaurants and stuff on a busy bank holiday weekend, is not the easiest. Despite the siren going and the blue lights, it's amazing how many people don't see us coming. So there is talks of us moving sites. We had meetings with the RNLI, like I said, about potentially moving sites, looking at different sites. It was all very early stages. How the COVID-19 issue is going to affect that, I don't know. There's not many funds coming into the RNLI as it is at the minute. The RNLI is a charity, so it's obviously going to have to cut back on a lot of things to make sure we can still deliver what we deliver. So I think any potential move for a new station will be put on the back burner for a good while, and we'll make do with what we've got until the RNLI can allocate us the funds to potentially move to somewhere new.
Great, thank you very much. Next one is from Sophie May Harrison, and she wants to know, have any crew accidentally fallen overboard in bumpy waves, etc.?
Not that I can recall or ever seen.
No, I've never seen anyone falling.
I'm sure there's a few times you wanted to push somebody in, but not necessarily accidentally falling. But obviously, just going along with that as well, though, I'm guessing some of the training that you do is for like man overboard situations, and on your training exercises, then you'll do certain scenarios around that as well, will you?
Yeah. I mean, we cover man overboard exercises as crew in the event one of us falls in, or in the event of us picking someone out of the water. To cover both areas and how we'll deal with it with one less man on the boat, or a couple less men on the boat, and ways round of getting the crew back on board. So
in relation to sort of the crew falling overboard and stormy weather and that, how is the lifeboat kitted out to prevent that happening? What kind of stuff have you got on the boat?
We've got places where we can put our feet, like little loops that keep us on board, and we've also got handles that we can hold on to as well.
So they're obviously fitted into the individual seats, are they? And it's a case of like looping your feet into sort of the floor and the grab rails and that, is that?
Yeah.
Next one is from Karen Lynn Craven. Would anyone like to progress in the RNLI, and if so, what?
Yeah. If we're doing interviews now, or are we?
Yeah.
No, I'm currently on a tractor training plan at the moment, working towards passing out as a tractor driver. Obviously, before all the lockdown and everything and stopping training. But no, it's interesting. There's a lot of roles you can move into, and tractor driver being one of them. It's good to expand and keep training new things.
I quite like to be on Monday.
And why not?
But New Brighton hasn't got a female helm yet.
Brighton's never had a female helm, so hopefully we have one very soon.
That's it. I think as well, sort of where it talks about progression and that, it's just enhancing your skills, isn't it? And sort of I know when you start as shore crew or boat crew, and it's just a case of getting all your different skills and competencies and progressing on each phase really until you're competent, and there's then different roles that will open up for you. Next one is from Alex Meadows, and they say, what does the average shout cost in terms of manpower and resources? So if your normal shout, what kind of crew would you need for that?
It's your normal shout you're looking at. So the DLA, I get the phone call off the Coast Guard. So we need one DLA, one helmsman to take the boat out, 3 other boat crew, and we're looking at a tractor driver, and then potentially four beach crew to help with the launching of it, to get us out to the boathouse and stuff. So just in manpower, there's quite a few of us. Then you're looking at the expenses of fuel for boat and tractor and the truck, and then everything else that goes on top with the running cost of the station. So it runs into quite a bit depending on the time that we're on the water as well.
What would the shore cruise role be when you get down to the beach, and that? What kind of things would they have to do?
So the shore crew, you're looking at when we get to the beach, the boat and tractor will stop on the hard standing. The helm's speaking to the tractor driver, making sure everything's right, getting more information off the Coast Guard, and then the shore crew will come along. They'll unhitch the tractor from the trailer, so if we have any issues, the trailer can break away. The tractor can break away from the trailer and drive out. They're also turning on the water for the engines, so we can run the engines for 4 minutes, I want to say, and I think that's wrong. We can run it for a few minutes before we hit the water with the water tanks that we have on board the carriage. So the engines are up to pressure, not up to running temperature. So when we hit the water, we can just go at full speed. In that time, all the boat crew are doing final checks on PPE, life jackets and stuff, and getting as much information from the Coast Guard as we can to what we're launching to. It sounds like there's not much for the shore crew to do, but their job mainly is once we're out of the carriage, once the boat crew is out of the carriage and the boat's gone off to do whatever they're doing, then they're listening in on the shout on the radios. It might be rough weather, so then they need to turn the tractor around, get ready for a net recovery. So there's all kinds of nets that they have to put up on the carriage to catch the boat coming in. They might have to move recovery sites. They might have to get paramedics down to the beach if we're bringing a casualty back to the beach. You know, there's a lot of stuff goes into the shore crew thing. Everyone thinks it's about getting on the boat and getting out, and there's a lot of stuff that the shore crew have to do back at the station and at the launch site for when the boat returns.
I think when I started as shore crew, I think one of the key things I noticed was I started in summer, and with how busy our beaches get in New Brighton, was how crowded they get. Just clearing a path for the tractor to get down to the beach safely. So you have a lot of dogs running around, a lot of kids playing, things like that. It's just trying to move people out of the way to get the tractor to the water as safely as possible, I think.
Excellent, thank you. Dale Guyton, he's asking about how busy is the RNLI or the station been since lockdown, and when will the station be open for viewing? I think in relation to the station being open, obviously we've got to take guidance from the government on that. There's a lot of things which are closed at the moment, and once the government start relaxing all the control measures, then certainly we'll look to be opening the station up for viewings and visits again. And as soon as that's on, then there'll be something on the website to let people know, and we'll get that up and running again. In relation to shouts, sort of from New Brighton's perspective, what are our shouts like compared to last year or compared to pre-lockdown? Are they much different?
We've only had 4 since lockdown began. It's been fairly quiet, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think in comparison to last year, this time last year, I think it would have been a lot quieter. Being less people on the beach, isn't it? Especially during the nice weather.
I think the majority of people are adhering to the lockdown rules, which is obviously helping the RNLI somewhat, because you've not got as many people, as you say, on the beach, and you've not got as many people in the water where they might come in trouble and that. So I think I agree with what you say. They are probably a little bit lower than normal, but that just shows that people are following the government guidelines, which is good to see. One for all the crew, probably, from Crew Stokey. What is the most unusual shout anyone's attended?
Really had one. That's been unusual.
No, I can't bring one to mind. Jay's had a few more years in than 2 of us, so Jay's had an interesting one.
I'm trying to think. No, we got tasked to a overturned kayak with 2 people clinging on board, going past Seacombe stage, Woodside stage. When we got down there, it turned out to be one of the biggest tree trunks you've ever seen in your life, with 2 sticks sticking out the water. So that's a bit of a strange one to see. It was a false alarm with very good intention, because as we were coming flying down the river, it did look like it was an overturned kayak with people sticking on the top. But when we got there, it was like, oh, we'll leave that. There's not much we can do with that one.
Brilliant. Next question is from Mark Woods, and this is probably more aimed at Emily. He wants to know, how has martial arts helped you mentally and physically with the role of the RNLI?
So I think physically it's taught me a lot about working your way up. So when you first started Taekwondo, you start at the bottom and you don't really know much. And as you progress, you sort of learn a little bit and a little bit more. And there's always something new to learn. And it's the same with the lifeboat. Every situation's different. It's also taught me mentally that to remain calm in high intensity situations. So like being on the boat, every shout's different. It's high intensity. Everyone's rushing about, trying to get to the shout. And I think it helps you deal with it and sort of take a step back and breathe and calm yourself down a bit.
Brilliant. You've passed. Tammy Richardson said, even though you've been trained on a scale of 1 to 10, how terrified are you when the water is crazy?
I love it. I think it's like a roller coaster.
It's not too bad. You start to get used to it. Myself and Jay working on the river. You see rougher weather than we would on the lifeboat, but it's not too bad. Obviously, being quite a small rib, we're limited to what we can go out in weather-wise. So, but there's been some interesting days, interesting weather.
Yeah, especially this year. Earlier this year, we had all the storms and stuff, so it was good to get out and do some rough weather training with some of the newer crew that I've got. It's a bit different for me. If I'm on the controls, I'm in control, so I know what's happening with the 3 people sitting behind me. We had this with you, Gareth, when we went out for the Prince of Wales.
Yeah.
We hit a bit of a wave and got absolutely drenched when it broke over the top of us. So it can be quite fun sometimes. I think it's more nervous on a shout, because you're checking the tide, checking what the weather's doing, and then you're thinking, like, what are we going into?
Yeah, I think as well, sort of, from my point of view, from like the stuff I've done in my job as well, it's similar to the the RNLI side of it. You get a lot of training to do what you do. Obviously, if you weren't sort of, there's got to be like a little bit of nervous energy, because if everyone just goes out blasé, then that's when things do go wrong. So you always will have a little bit of sort of nervous energy about you. But certainly from when out with yourself, Jay, the kit that the RNLI give you, and also just seeing the capabilities of the boat is quite reassuring, I think, to be honest. You know, the waves were bad when we went out, but the capability of the boat, I'm not going to say anything about the person who was driving it, but is you know, it just shows you that
all about the person who's driving.
it just shows you that the kit and the equipment that the RNLI provide are really good stuff.
Yeah, the RNLI will give the best kit that they can get hold of. They build all their own boats, so it's the best stuff that they can put into it. Like me and Tom, we work on the Liverpool pilot boats, and those we're out in bad weather and we use really good boats there. Pitch and roll on them is crazy compared to our boats. And I know we're on the rib, but we sit so planted in the water. It's an amazing piece of kit to throw around when you need to.
Great stuff. Next question is from Jess Cadden. She's asked if you're nervous when you go out, which I think we've just talked about there. We've talked about different call outs and that, but one she does ask is, what is your favourite part of the job?
I think maybe coming back after a shout. It's one of my favourite parts. You've got all the crew there, all the shore crew, all the boat crew, tractor driver, and everyone's just sat in the mess room and they've all got a cup of tea. It's quite nice. And talk and debrief and chat, and nice sort of feeling after a shout.
I like the different experience from being on the shore to the water and things you get to see on the water. Everything looks that different.
Jay?
Yeah, for me it's being out on the water. It's the best feeling in the world, being out on the water sometimes. We get to see the best sunrises you can see over Liverpool, and the best sunsets as well from our view. Also, I love it when we get back, if we're doing a training exercise on a Sunday down the beach, and families from the crew come down, and the kids from crew members come down, and every station says it if you speak to them, that we're like one big family, but we really are. You're right, and we all know each other, we all know each other's wives, and mums, dads, we all know everyone's kids, so we all have a good mix, and we all get to spend time together, which is nice.
Good stuff. And last but no means least is Ali Bidston. And she says, do any of the crew have superstitions or lucky charms?
There's one for Emily.
I carry a teddy bear in my dry suit, and it's been with me on most exercises and every shot I've been on so far.
Tom, have you got any?
Not really, no. Nothing I carry, anything like that. No, not particularly.
Jay, what about yourself?
Just a little soppy one. If I'm at home, I'll always say goodbye to the wife properly before running out of the door. You don't know what we're running into, so that's the best way to do it.
Excellent, thank you. Okay then, so that's the end of the Q&A session. That's the end of the Brews of the Cruise and the Cuppa with the Crew. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed having a brew along us, and from everyone at New Brighton Lifeboat Station, thanks for supporting us for the time that you have done, and hopefully we'll see you down at the station sometime soon. So thank you from everyone. Cheers.
Cheers.